Hello everyone, thank you for joining me today. My name is Barry from Mitosu Crafts, your independent Stampin' Up demonstrator. So yes, today's project is for the Casually Crafting Design Team blog hop, and the theme of today's project is nature. Alright, so I've decided to use the Very Versailles Stamp Set for this. Because it's quite a nice stamp set here. It's got some nice, obviously some what I class as nature leaves, and I'm going to make it, and I'm going to use some other stuff as well to bring it in. So I'm also going to use some of the butterflies here from the Beauty Abounds stamp set as well. So before I crack on, if you're new to our channel, please remember to hit the subscribe buttons down below. And you'll obviously get notified of any future videos which we do as well. There is also links in the description down below which will take you to our online shop, as well as obviously subscribe buttons and all the other information which we think you might find important or informative. So please take a moment to have a little look at that, but more importantly hit the subscribe button so you know when we've released some more videos for you in the future. Okay, so let's crack on. I'm going to take a piece of Sahara Sand cardstock. Now this is an A4 cardstock, and I'm going to create my card base here. So I'm bringing in my paper trimmer, and we create our card bases at 14.5. So I cut it in half at 14.5 centimeters. Okay, so you can get 2 card bases to 1 piece of cardstock. And then I rotate it round, and then I score it at 10.5 centimeters. So that creates my card base, okay? Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to pop that to one side for a moment. I'm going to also grab myself a bit of Whisper White cardstock, and I'm going to cut this to 12 by 8 centimeters. Okay, so I'm going to cut this at 8 centimeters this way. And then I'm going to trim it down to 12 centimeters this way here. So this is the part we're going to be doing our stamping on. Pop that to one side. I have also got some, I've got a complete blank on what colour it is. The espresso, I want to say. I'm just doubting myself. Have a little look. No, early espresso, it's the soft suede. I completely confused. I wanted to say early espresso, but it's soft suede. And I am going to cut this at, let's have a little look if I've got enough there. No, I haven't. So I'm going to cut this at 12.3 centimeters. So I'm going 3 millimeters larger because I want to give myself a tiny border. And so therefore I will then go 8.3 centimeters. So I'm going 3 millimeters larger than my Whisper White layer. All right, so when this goes on there, you can see we have a nice border around it. Not too big and chunky, but just enough just to highlight the white cardstock. All right, so I'm going to pop my trimmer to one side for a moment, and I'm going to pop these to one side because these are leftovers. And I am going to do a little bit of embossing first. So I'm going to emboss my card layer, okay, so my card blank. And for this one, I will be using the Pinewood Planks embossing folder. So I'm just going to bring the big shot into view. And with this, because I only want to emboss half of it, let's just open this up. I only want to emboss it one side. So this is the front side. So I want to obviously have it so the score line is on the edge of the embossing folder. And I'm going to bring that down. Pop it into a big shot like so, or your die cutting and embossing machine. And then run it through. Sorry about the wobble. Right, that's all the wobbling done there, hopefully. So once we release this, we have now got ourselves a nice embossed front to our cardstock, and obviously it was on that crease as well, so we have still got a nice card base. All right, so let's pop that to one side. So we are now done with that one there. So adding texture to your card base is obviously a bit of interest, and obviously texture to it as well. It just is quite nice to feel. So you can either make a decision. You can either have the bit which is going to be lumpy, or you can have the debossed side. I'm actually going to use the debossed side, so the bit which is the indents are going into it rather than the embossed side. You can see there you've got the texture, and we've got it's all inside. So I'm going to use this side here. So all I've just done is just turn that over, which isn't a problem. So that's that. So let's leave that to one side for a moment. We'll come back to that one once we're finished. So we're going to move on to our Whisper White layer. So as I mentioned, I'm using the Very Versailles Stamp Set, and I am going to be using this lovely script text. You can see it's unreadable, but I'm going to be using this lovely script text here just to add a little bit of interest in the background. And the colours I've decided to use for this one, obviously the nature is the theme of this, so I've gone more with the colours, I suppose, of nature, the earthy colours. So I've got Sahara Sand, Crumb Cake and Garden Green. So I'm going to stamp this here, the script, in the crumb cake. Like so. And we're just going to stamp that into the middle of my cardstock here. There we go. So that's that. So that's just giving a little bit of interest in the back there. I'll leave that because I do need that again at the moment. And then what I'm also going to do is I'm going to grab this little pattern here. I'm not really sure what to call it. And I am going to grab a bit of scrap paper here, because I don't want to get my table dirty. So I'm going to pop that down there. And I'm doing this in the lighter colour, so I'm doing this in the Sahara Sand, and I'm actually going to do a second generation on this one. So I'm inking, going to take the first generation off, and then I'm just going to add that at the top there. Same again, and down, and then I'm just going to do one down the bottom down here. Like so. Just adds a little bit of interest, but it's not too overpowering, because I don't want it to detract from the main piece. All right, so that I'm done with for the moment now, the Sahara Sand, and I'm also done with the script. So I will, where's my stamp set gone? I've buried it, there we go. So I will just remove this, and I'm now going to take the leaves, pop that onto the same stamps, onto the same block. And this is now, I'm going to use the Garden Green. And we're going to ink this up, and obviously this is a distinctive stamp set as well, so it's got, you can see some patterns within the flowers and the leaves here on this branch. That's it. And we are just going to then just pop this in like so on that, and just hold that down for a little bit. Let the ink absorb into the paper, and then we'll take that off there. Okay, so we're kind of like building up layers on our cardstock. So just overlaying, stamping up, and just building on this scene. So that's that one there. All right, so that's kind of all I want to do with that card base at the moment. So there's one more thing I want to do, sorry. Obviously, because we're kind of going for a bit of a grungy look, I want to do a bit of sponging. Now I did, everything was going so, there it is right in front of me. I'm going to grab a sponge, and I'm going to grab the Sahara Sand again, and I'm just going to just use a sponge here. Sorry, this is where it will get a little bit shaky again. Ink up that, and I'm just going to darken down these edges. So start off the page and bring it in Not pushing too hard, just gently rubbing the ink over the top of the cardstock, and it's starting to darken down that edge. We'll go hit this side here, so I'm going to do this on all four corners. There we go. All right, so you can see there that's just darkened down, just giving a little bit of interest and just darken down those edges just a little bit, just to take away that stark whiteness. Good. All right, so let's move that one out of the way, and we're also done with the garden green as well. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to stick this to my card layer, so that can start getting nice and stuck. Okay, and we're going to stick that onto that layer which we created at the beginning. Like that. Cool, perfect. All right, so let's just leave that to one side. Oh, actually, what I can do now is I can stick this to my card front as well, because we're actually done with this layer, and everything else gets stuck on top of it. So let's pop some glue on this. And we'll just center that in my card layer, card base, sorry. And have that in like so. So good. Let's pop that to one side for a second, and we will then crack on with the next part. So I'm going to grab myself a little bit of scrap piece of paper here, so a bit of Whisper White, and I'm going to take this kind of frame here, and I'm going to go in with the crumb cake, so the darker ink. Going to ink this up with the crumb cake then, and I'm just going to stamp this in the middle here. There we go. How beautiful is that? It's lovely. All right, so that's that one there. And then what I'm also going to do is I'm going to grab my Memento black ink, and I'm going to stamp the sentiment thank you in the middle here. Okay, I'm just going to need to stand up for this one so I can get over it a little bit. There we go. I'm a little bit off on that stamp, It's not too bad, but I have done one earlier on because I can't quite get enough over the camera to actually stamp it. So just take a little bit more time when you do it. Well, that's not too bad. It's in there, it's straight, but I would prefer it to be a little bit lower if I can. So just take your time with that one. So once you've done that, what you're going to then want to do is fussy cut. So we're just going to go all the way around this, and then just fussy cut. Now, you don't want to go up against the stamped lined image. You just want to kind of give yourself a bit of a white border. I find that so much easier if you fussy cut and give yourself a white border. And invest in a good pair of scissors when doing fussy cutting. And just turn the paper with it, and just follow it, and just be rough. You don't, obviously, because this isn't a straight line, it doesn't matter too much. You just obviously try and get the white border as even as you can all the way around. All right, so you get the gist of that there. What I have done, though, to save on some time, I have already fussy cut this out. All right. Good, so that's that one there. I have also got myself some soft... I've got a cat, sorry, that's trying to jump on the table. It's been asleep all morning. As soon as I record, it's a nightmare and jumps everywhere. He just wants to be centre of attention all the time. So if the table's wobbling, it's because he's trying to jump up on it and I'm trying to push him down at the same time. So I've got a tiny bit here of soft sea foam cardstock, all right? And I'm going to use this little guillotine here. And all I want to do is I just want to take off a tiny sliver. So you can use any trimmer you've got. Obviously we've got this is what we got as a little promotion. So I'm going to use this. I'm just going to take off. It's quite handy for taking off these little slivers here. So I'd say that's just under 1 centimetre in thickness. All right, and this is going to go. Let's have a little look how big I want to take that. So I want to take a little bit off of here as well. So I want to just bring my trimmer in again, my little cutter. And I just want to take off, I want to take it down to about 7 centimetres in length by around about just under 1 centimetre. And I'm just going to give this some little tails. So use your snips again. And just give yourself some little tails there. And repeat that on both sides. All right, you can see what I've done there. So that's that one there. So good. So we'll come back to that. So I'm going to get all my elements ready. So that's going to go on like so. I have also got the leaf punch here as well. And I'm going to grab my crumb cake ink. I'm going to grab some cardstock here and and what I want to do is I'm more interested in this bottom part here. So I'm just going to then just stamp that onto some scraps here. Grab my leaf punch and then I'm just going to just punch it out and use the leaf design which is on there just to give it a little bit of texture. Obviously there are stamps which coordinate with this as well, where you can get a perfect leaf, which is fine, but rather than obviously what I wanted to try and do was try and create everything with just one stamp set rather than you having to buy lots of different stamp sets. Okay, so that's that one. And then what you're going to do is you're going to take your pick tool, and we're just going to then just shape just push down in the middle a little bit like that, just to give it a little bit of dimension. So you're just pushing against your fingers and then maybe just fold them in just a little bit. Another thing which I'm going to do is going to grab your ink pad and I'm just going to kind of just gently push on, and you can see that just adds a little bit of ink to the edges. Like so. Just adds a little bit of, just darkens it down, just again gives it some texture. So that's that. Okay, so we're now ready to construct. You're going to grab yourself some mini dimensionals. And minis work really well on this because we're working on some small pieces. And we will pop some on the back of this soft seafoam part right here. Like that. And we're just going to pop that down. Let's have a little look. So I'm going to pop that in there. So I want that in the centre, like so. Using all of these dimensionals, so don't chuck away these end parts, just snip into this. And then use this as a bit on the top and a bit on the bottom. And then a bit of glue in the middle right here. And then we're just going to stick that in like so. Yeah, so that's going to still give it the height, top and bottom, and then that's just going to stick itself onto that banner in the middle like that. Going to take this part here, and we're just going to pop a little bit of glue on the back side of it. And we're just going to tuck this underneath like so, like that. So there we go. That is the nature card, or my nature inspired card. Now I wanted just to add one more thing to it. Obviously it is going to incorporate another stamp set, but the beauty abounds, okay? And I wanted to add a butterfly. So if you've got any other kind of like little animals or insects or creatures which you can add to it, then this is a perfect time to grab those out. I just wanted the one stamp, and I'm going to colour this in Memento. So you can either stop where I've done it, and then I think that's still a perfect little card. And then, but we'll just add in this butterfly, colouring that in black, and we're just going to fussy cut this one out again, but I'm going to colour this in first. So I have got some dark petal pink blends, and I've got the Daffodil Delight. So I'm just going to just colour in some of these little bits. I don't want it to be too overpowering, so I'm just going to be some gentle light colours here, just to give it a little bit of colour. Alright, so that's the petal pink, and we will use the Daffodil Delight just to colour in those end parts. Like so. Once you coloured that in, you can then fussy cut this out. It's quite a simple one to cut out. Just go around. But again, what I've done, I'll cut that out later on. What I've already done is I've already coloured one and cut one already for us. And I think what I want to do is I just want to pop that butterfly in there. So I'm just going to grab one of these other dimensionals here. I'm going to pop one there, I'll pop one down the bottom down there. I might just give a little, just a thin sliver. Just to go on that part there, just so that we've got it covered and it's not going to sag at all, it's going to get nice and stuck. That one, and we will then just pop you, I think, just there. Just flying away out of my little scene. And there we go. There is my nature-inspired card using the lovely Very Versailles Stamp Set. So this one right here. And the beauty abounds, just to add that flower in. But I think this one is just lovely as it is, and you can get some very grungy, very artistic cards, and using it with the embossing folder as well, I think just adds some really nice texture to it. So there we go. I hope you enjoyed that. Thank you very much for watching. Obviously be sure to check back with our channel and check the links down below. Obviously there will be product links down there as well. Hit the subscribe button for any future updates. But until then, thank you very much for watching, and we'll be back with you very soon with another card. Thanks very much. See you soon. Bye.